Hi, I'm Tony Coccagna, and welcome to the Coach Joe Lombardi Show. I'm here with the IUP basketball coach. His team is 25-2 overall, 20-2 in the PSAC West champion, ranked 7th nationally, first in the East region. Coach, let's add one more thing to it. You're 15-0 at home this year. You've had 9 teams. This is the first one to go undefeated at home. You always come into a season with that target on your back, and maybe that building puts it on your back a little bit more. So is that just another testament to the resiliency of this group, that they went out and set that goal and accomplished it?
Yeah, I believe so, Tony. I mean, you know, it's always when you do something for the first time that hasn't been done before, there's always a nice sense of accomplishment. And, you know, it's a testament to the sacrifices they make throughout the year, the commitment that they make, the commitment to the process of working hard, of playing for each other, and then, you know, the commitment to each other, you know, those types of things. So each group becomes a special group, and you like them to experience something maybe that somebody else hasn't done before, because then that kind of adds a little specialness to their season. So I'm happy for Chucky and Malik, especially the seniors, who were able to, you know, kind of put their stamp on the program, regardless of how the rest of the year plays out. Very few teams that I've coached, very few teams that have played in the KCAC, and very few teams that have ever been at IUP have had as successful regular season as this group has.
You have one more game at home, at least one more game at home, Wednesday night in the quarterfinals against the Gannon, California winner. 2 teams with different styles. Either way, you're going to get a tough opponent on Wednesday night.
Yeah, both of them gave us really competitive games this year. Both of them, you know, are strong both ways. I think California's a little, I'd say they're a little better offensively, where Gannon is probably a little better defensively, but that doesn't mean they're weak on the other side. They're both good on both ends of the ball. And last Saturday, they just played last Saturday, just how it worked out, and Gannon went down to California and won. California shoots a lot of threes, relying on the threes. Gannon's a little bit more physical and inside team. So, you know, it's just exciting. We're just happy to play whoever we play on Wednesday, and anytime you get to play in March, it's a bonus to what your season all is. And, you know, with the weather changing a little bit, you know, it's springtime and it's March and it's playoff basketball and springtime. This is players and coaches' dream. This is our spring break. Some students look forward to going to Florida for spring break and having fun. This is our version of spring break and having fun.
The playoff format in the PSAC, the division winners get by. First 2 teams in each division get byes. Then 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5, and then 4-5 winner gets the division champion, and 3-6 gets the second place team. And then, do you like that format? Do you like the way the conference does it with not crossing over in the quarterfinals?
Well, it doesn't matter whether I like it or not. They do that for expenses. It'd be a lot more expensive, you know, for everybody involved to do that. I think it's a reward, you know, to have the quarterfinal games at, you know, the higher seeds. So it's another home game for you and your fans and the players. So that's, yeah, I do like it, to answer your question. A few years back, we were only, I think we only had maybe 6 teams were going from each side. And to me, that kind of, well, that's what they have now. Actually, there was only 4 teams. Yeah. There was 4 teams from each side in the playoffs, and that was leaving 5 teams out of the playoffs. And at that point, for a few years, we had expanded. We were only the only league in the country, probably, not to have at least 50% of their teams in the conference tournament. And I just didn't think it was fair to the other teams, and I didn't think it made for good competitive basketball in the last few weeks, because a lot of teams get eliminated a lot earlier. So we're able to move that forward and expand the playoff to the way it is now, and I think it's at a good number, and I think the teams that don't make it in some ways are looking forward to getting out recruiting and moving on to next year.
How do you prepare at this time of year when you're going into tournament play, facing back-to-back games, little time to prepare for opponents? How do you get it done in the preparation?
I wish I knew the right answer, Tony. No, we usually go Monday, Tuesday, and practice for Wednesday. The last couple Mondays, we've really backed off to try to stay fresh, and especially some guys had little bit of sickness and banged up a little bit. This week's a little more complicated. There's some, we'll take Thursday off. If we're fortunate to win, we'll take Thursday off, but you have to plan ahead like that. And so Friday, you have one day to get ready for whoever your opponent is on Saturday, if you win. And then looking forward, if we would win, then that opponent would be Stroudsburg and the other two teams that they play, the other two teams that are playing tonight. So it would be, you have 1 to 3 teams to play against. Well, on Monday, we try to use a little bit of the day. We'll probably go for an hour later on today on preparing for stuff like, Stroudsburg's pressure, or, Westchester's zone, or something like that along those lines that we haven't really seen a lot of this year from our side. So we don't have a lot of repetition at those types of things. They're different. So we're not going to have time on Friday to get it in. We have to get it in. We have to use today to kind of get some things in place, and it's mainly, it's mainly mental, and the teams that can adjust mentally this time of the year, or teams that do well, because of the quick turnaround and things.
Speaking of preparation, 2 guys that have a lot to do with it as well as yourself. Your 2 assistants, Shamgod Wells and Ronnie Fudal. We haven't talked much about those guys this year. Tell me a little bit about those 2.
Both of them are terrific. They're really good, and they're good assistants. But what's really special to me is the type of young men they are. You can't find 2 better character-driven young men and that are hard workers than those 2 guys, and they've been a good influence on me, and they've been a great influence on the players too. So I try to convey to the assistants their position is not to allow me to look good. It's to allow me to be good, and if you're able to do a lot of things that and I don't have to think about or worry about, then maybe some of the things that they're not, their role isn't, that I, hopefully I can do a better job at that role. We're in so many ways, the connections that they have, they've helped a lot of our kids grow as young men, and when you do that, they become better players, better, higher character people. Because end up being better players for you. They're able to be less selfless. Those 2 guys, selfless is a good word for those 2, and they've influenced our players to be less selfless. So when you do that, you're able to function better as a team, because that's a big intangible in having success on the court.
And those 2 guys are working with them a lot outside of practice, their individual workouts and things like that.
They're working with them with their academics. They're terrific mentors in a lot of different areas, and a lot of one-on-one stuff. And they live it. They put it in. Neither one of them, are married. They love basketball. They not only love basketball, but they love interaction with young men, and they like being mentors. And so our guys are the ones that are most blessed by having them, including our guys and myself.
Let's just take a quick look around the PSAC, and what do you see out there in the East Division? Of course, Shippensburg, the division champion. East Stroudsburg playing a lot better than they were when you guys played them early in the year. They were just struggling offensively then, but it seems like they've gotten things together. So what do you see in the East, and what do you see in the West?
That's a lot of things to see, Tony. There's still 12 teams out there, okay? We don't have enough time to go through all of them, okay? Unless this show is
There are
stretched to an hour.
definitely some front runners out there.
Yeah. Well, Ship, they lost 4 games in conference, so I haven't really. I haven't seen them on film. I'm not, if we would play them, it wouldn't be till the championship game, so that's too far out in front. But they've had a real good year. Stroudsburg is playing a lot better. They've won 7 in a row, I think, and people forget too. I think Jeff's done an incredible job with. They lost not only they lost a lot of players from last year. They lost arguably the East's best player in Ryan Smith due to leukemia, and not only that, he's not only had to deal with filling that void of an injury or sickness, but there's a lot that goes along with when that type of situation happens, the impact it has on the rest of your team and your players and their brotherhood. And he's had to probably do more mentoring than most coaches ever have to do in a year, okay, and with his young men. And so to get them to work through that and be in a good place to play successful basketball really speaks to him as a coach. Everybody knows he's a terrific coach and has had elite 8 teams and has had wonderful success over there. But that speaks to Jeff as the man too. So, and then you have Westchester, who started off ranked and on a ball of fire, winning the first 13, I think, and then they played 500 ball since then probably. And but they're very explosive. They won a leading scorer on the team. Leading scorer in the conference plays for them. So you have them over there. We haven't played Millersville. I don't know a lot about Millersville, but Lock Haven's played a lot of people tough throughout the year, and I'm not familiar with Kutztown. I believe Kutztown's the 6th team over there. Okay, so that runs it down. Mercyhurst has gotten better, like they do every year under Gary throughout the year. They're quite capable of winning this tournament, and and then the other teams all have their own, on our side, all have their own strengths and are able to be, play at high levels at different times, maybe not as consistently throughout the year, but they certainly had games or stretches during the season where they were as good as anybody.
Yeah, 6 pretty good teams in the West, even though Slippery Rock's sitting down there at 6th spot, just a little bit over 500.
Yeah, they're the best 500 team in the history of Division II basketball, I think, Slippery Rock. So, but they're very formidable.
All right, Coach, we will see you Wednesday at the KCAC for whoever you're going to play, and hopefully good fortune there, and move on to the East this weekend for the PSAC Tournament.
We're going to try to have some fun, Tony. Appreciate that, and appreciate all the support we've gotten this year from our home crowd. I mean, going undefeated at home is a testament to our guys, but also a testament to the fan support, because they do make a difference in college basketball, and and our guys want to, they want to thank the people out there that have supported us in whatever way, whether that's physically just being at the games, okay, whether that's help them, support our program financially or whatever way. But it certainly takes a lot of different people to achieve the success. And the bus is really big. It's a long bus, Tony. A lot of people on it, our players, a lot of other people. And I don't even know if I drive it. They just give me the keys to open it, okay? And then I take the 2 assistants drive it, so I just get the front row.
All right, Coach. Well, we will see you on the bus this weekend, hopefully.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.